I really love collaborations that feel really unexpected. Like that's one of my favorites.
Hello and welcome once again to Radio Primavera Sound at Primavera Sound, our kind of natural environment, you'd have to say. It's Saturday, the last day, and we are incredibly pleased to have with us Arlo Parks. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm joined by Andrea. I've got to tell you, Andrea has a couple of our top shows in Spanish, and I was listening to your album just in our little office there the other day, and Andrea came by and she said, "Are you interviewing Arlo Parks?" I am. And she said, "All right, I got to come along." And so
my English is very bad. I'm not doing the interviews in English, but I just come here as a fan. As a huge fan. Like,
thank you.
doing this.
You got to do some interviewing, Andrea. Okay. And as ever, because we're on Twitch, if anybody sort of makes any comments in the chat, if you've got any questions, that kind of thing, if they're polite and relevant, I might ask them, but only if they're polite and relevant. So, Arlo, your new album, My Soft Machine, was released last Friday, which, so I'm kind of taking this as still like a release party.
Definitely a
party.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I remember last year I played in Barcelona and in Madrid, and they were by far there was so much energy in that room that for me, like playing this festival. Oh,
you're back.
I disappeared for a moment, but I'm back. But playing this festival has been a dream of mine. So it's nice to be able to do it so soon after the music's out and just be able to like really share it with people in that real way. Yeah.
Are you more nervous when you go on a stage without the audience knowing the songs so much?
Well, it's interesting because, I don't know, the first time that I put out my record, I couldn't play it live to anyone at all. So now I'm just excited to, have people respond. I played a lot of the songs before they'd even come out at all, and just have that sense of excitement and people like trying to record it on their phones, trying to memorize the words. And then it finally being out, it feels like a journey. And then as the months go by, people start to kind of live with the songs more and more, and it gets more and more special. So it's part of the journey, and I love it.
Nice.
So you said that the new album is about, and I apologise for quoting, navigating life in your 20s, particularly mid-20s anxiety, the substance abuse of friends around you, and the viscera of being in love for the first time. But you're only 22, right?
I am indeed.
You're not mid-20s. Do you feel mid-20s?
I feel like I'm heading there. And I also think that a lot of my friends are kind of in their mid-20s to 30s. I think I'm used to being like the baby in every room because I started when I was 17. So I've been doing this for like almost 6 years, which is interesting because I'm still tiny. But yeah, no, I like to write about the people around me and the characters that have kind of moved in and out of my life.
And how are your 20s going? Do you feel like it's a kind of good time for you?
It's a good time. It's an overwhelming time for sure. I feel like my late teenage years and early 20s have been quite unique in terms of how it goes. But it's interesting because I've spent a lot of time very much focused on the music, on the work, on the travel. And I think something that I'm learning is to kind of nurture the human behind the art and spend time in nature and really kind of tapping into my happiness as a person. So that's been a really nice journey. Yeah. And
the songs are very intimate, though they sound that to me. What's it going to be like performing them live?
I mean, I definitely feel very, very exposed. Like there's a rawness to it, but at the same time, the crowd responds with that same kind of vulnerability and softness and just open arms. And I think playing a song like Black Dog, for example, a song that's, helped a lot of people through really kind of dark and difficult times, you can see in people's eyes how much it means to them in that moment. And I think that gives me a lot of courage to be just as vulnerable towards them.
There's many things I love about the album, but I want to pick out one particular line, a couple of lines from Bruiseless, if I may. The person I love is patient with me. She's feeding me cheese, and I'm happy. I love that line. Where did that? Is cheese the ultimate expression of love?
Cheese, it is. Yes. I mean, there's something definitely, but there's something about about sharing food, I think, like among friends, with a lover, like something about kind of nourishing each other and just like the simplest tiny details of a love story that I feel like are the most, I know it's just part of, it's normal. It's like you're at the kitchen, someone's eating cheese and they just give you a bit, you know? It's just like those little expressions of love, I think, are important to kind of honor.
So it's almost like the domesticity of it, you know, rather than the grand gesture of a 5-star restaurant. It's like, you know.
That would be a different kind of song for sure. Caviar at the Michelin star.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad. Another thing I want to pick out, I read that Blades was inspired by the aquarium scene in Romeo and Juliet, right? Tell us about that. Why do you love that film, and why that scene in particular?
I think that scene in particular, to me, kind of mirrored the idea of somebody that you're really close to and seeing them kind of by surprise, maybe a few years after you were close. And you see them and the connection between you is somehow different and you can't quite place it, almost as if you're looking at them through water and through ripples. And there is that connection, but things are kind of obscured. And also, you know, seeing someone through very much like a sea of people at a party, and you just make eye contact with them and there's this kind of lightning bolt that happens.
There is something about the blue color on the album. What about it? What's going on with this color?
Yeah, to me, blue is very much where I find peace, I think. When I think about just like laying under the sky and being in the ocean, and like there's this sense of vastness and this sense of calm, and it feels serene and it feels grounding. And I think I just naturally associate colors with different feelings, like purple. I'm always thinking about purple, but I still don't really know why. I just am. So yeah, I just love including color.
Do you think there is a meaning behind purple, and kind of maybe a subconscious one, or do you just think it's like just something you like?
I think there's probably a subconscious meaning to most of my choices of words and colors, but to me, honestly, I see words on a page and they just feel right. I can't explain why. Like, to me, I can look at a page of words or a page on a dictionary or whatever, and there are certain words that just kind of fit the energy of what I'm trying to convey. So I don't know. Who knows? A mystery. I like it being a mystery. Like, I like just letting it be, and that's kind of all.
Musically, you said the new album was inspired by two bands I really love, My Bloody Valentine and Fontaine's DC. What do you like about those two bands?
I think especially My Bloody Valentine, there is this sense of, it just feels like there's a chaos and there's a sense of, it feels hectic and it feels energized, and you can imagine just like these guitars like smashing into one another almost. It's like a song being destroyed. I remember reading an interview about them, and that's kind of how they described it. But then the vocals are so like ethereal and slightly buried, kind of like in J. Paul's music. That's something that I really love. And Fontaine's DC, again, songs like Nabokov and Skinty Fear, like there is a sense of urgency. And I think in my first record, there was a sense of kind of softness and kind of meandering almost. And I was like, I want to get straight to the point. Like, I want to be honest right now in this way. And that's kind of the inspiration that I took.
I know the new record, you talked about it being very collaborative. I would love to see you work with those two bands. Do you think it might happen?
One day. Like, I really love collaborations that feel really unexpected. Like, that's one of my favorites.
What do you look for in a good collaboration? Do you have to get on personally, or does there just have to be like a musical spark, or?
You have to get along as people. Like, I think the best music happens almost by accident when you're just in the studio and you're talking, or you share a certain album that, you know, nobody else really knows, and you're like, oh, you love that song too. And you kind of go down this rabbit hole very naturally. And obviously you have that musical synergy, but I honestly think the best collaborations come from two people who really respect one another as people and who are friends, and maybe who bring two different ways of working to create something new.
So you're not one for sort of email collaborations, you know?
No. I think for me personally, especially because I'm not very good with like technology and my phone and everything, like it has to be in person.
And talking of which, you worked with Phoebe Bridgers on Pegasus. How did that come about?
I mean, we've been friends for a while. Like, we've been friends for a few years. And we met in 2020. And we had sung a lot together and kind of bumped into one another, just like out and about and at festivals. And there was something quite magical I felt about our voices. There's kind of a similar texture and softness, but her voice is so unique, and the energy that she brings to a song is, I mean, she's inspired me since I was about 17. I remember listening to Strangers in the Alps and being so moved and, crying on my bedroom floor and, and I think that especially as a first feature on my music, I've never had a feature otherwise. It was just perfect to have someone I looked up to for so long to be on the song.
We were talking before we came on air about who you want to see at Primavera, because you're playing at 7:00.
Yes, indeed.
Santander. And then, so you've got a lot of time afterwards. And who do you want to see?
There's a long list, which I love going to a festival and having like a genuine schedule. Like I'll write it all down, exactly what I want to see. So I'm going to see Maggie, of course, great friend of mine. I'm going to see St. Vincent. I'm going to see, of course, Rosalia. Is Young Lean playing today?
No, not anymore.
Oh no.
He's not coming.
Okay, he's not coming anymore. And I also really want to I just love like going out into the crowd and just seeing something completely new. Like you'll probably see me just wandering around, just finding, like, I think that's my favorite part of festivals, just discovery, like discovering things, and you stumble across them and you're like, oh, actually this like touches a specific part of me. And then you fall in love with that band, sometimes forever. So
this is a good festival to discover.
Yeah,
new
exactly.
bands.
I wanted to be here for a very long time.
And just to put it out there, why not? Anyone you'd like to collaborate with?
I mean, in the world or in this
who's
festival?
here? Who we can wish into existence?
Who we can wish into
Yeah,
existence? Oh my goodness. Well, I saw Kendrick last night, and that would be very much a dream come true. I feel like the intention of his performance, and just his storytelling and his impact on culture, honestly, has been so great. So definitely him. And of course, Rosalia, the icon. Like, imagine. I feel like I just want to be like in her presence. Like, I don't even need to sing or do anything. I'll just be exactly. I just can be near. Like, that's fine by me.
You're gonna have to work the networking in the backstage. that's the work from
I'm not very
today.
good at that. I'm not very good at that.
Well, hang on, you're playing the Santander stage, which is a very big stage.
It's
Is
a big
Rosalia on
one.
that one, or is she on the one next door? I can't.
I don't know, but you're gonna be like, maybe it's in the same stage.
Oh, right.
And Rosalia, you can leave them a note.
Yeah,
maybe.
A little secret code. I've just written it in pen on the ground. No, I don't think she would see that.
But how do you feel about playing such a really big stage?
I mean, I feel like, honestly, in my journey over the last 2 years, I've played everything from like tiny pubs to 50 people to like doing the stadium with Harry Styles to like, there's been such a big range where I kind of have become used to just like bringing myself to it. Obviously, it is a bit nerve-wracking because you have to command that space. You have to turn it into like your home, basically, and bring people into your world, especially people who maybe don't know you yet. But there's something exciting about that, to be honest. And I just love to run around and just have a good time. So
Do you have any kind of preparation before going to stage?
Yeah, so me and my band will kind of like sing our backing vocals together. I will like just sprint up and down and like do star jumps, and like I just need to get my body moving.
Walk around.
No, literally, I will. You'll just see me running. Like if you're there, you'll see me running back and forth. And then honestly, I just like sit for a few minutes and think about the meaning behind the songs and how I felt when I was writing them, so that I can kind of bring that to people in the moment.
That's beautiful.
That's really interesting. So you'll look at the set list of what you're going to play, and you'll be like, okay, when I wrote that song, I was thinking about this.
Exactly.
Do those emotions then come back to you when you're...
They do. And I feel like a lot of my performance is, reliving in a way, which can be difficult and quite heavy. But when you perform, I feel like you're almost like giving that feeling away. Like you're in it, but you're also giving. So I feel like it is a release in that way. And I think especially difficult feelings, every time I play a song, I'm kind of letting go of that pain and that heaviness a little bit more, bit by bit.
Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming to speak to us. As I said, 7 o'clock, Santander. We'll be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming. I've got a very small, and it's very small present as well. Hang
Okay.
on. Hang on. There you go. That's to keep everything fresh.
Thank you.
Some people say they don't smell very good. My father-in-law loves the smell. So,
Okay, I'll trust him. I trust him.
He keeps it in his car. It's very, very, very healthy.
There we go. That's iconic. I was like, what are you looking for under that desk?
I just remembered, and I didn't want to look too dodgy. Look it up. But that's what I've got. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
it's going to be brilliant tonight.
I'm excited.
And have a good time.
Thank you very much. I will.
RPS, live from Primavera Sound, proudly presented by
Meta Hype and Cupra.